Oh, I got completely naked in front of John Hamm, and I think he complimented me. And he's a handsome man, so it meant more. It felt good, yeah. He saw my whole cock.
I think the question on everybody's mind right now is, how'd you do it? How'd you get swole, jacked, goosed?
It's just food and exercise. It's nothing crazy. I was looking into doing steroids. I'm scared of cancer. So I just ate a ton of meat. I just ate a ton of meat. And I constantly snacked on meat.
You didn't get one of those like Marvel Cinematic Universe trainers to get you like in the cameo?
No, I had trainers that I just like worked out with before I tried to get jacked. So they really helped me. But mostly just like you got to eat meat all day. Fucking sucks.
Was that a look you wanted to do across like previous seasons?
Yeah, so season 4, season 3, I permed my hair like Cat Williams. Season 4, I tried to get as skinny as I could. I wasn't good at it. Season 5, I gained 45 pounds. And, but I wasn't even good at that. My weight fluctuated throughout the shoot. And then this season, I lost 40 pounds and got my body fat down to like the best I've ever been since high school.
How'd that feel? That's got to be good.
It felt good, but I was hungry. And it's no quality of life because you can't drink alcohol. You can't go out to restaurants. Like the joys of life are taken away from you.
Well, yeah, it seems like you're taking it back with your new Newport sponsorship.
Yeah. So I'm polluting my body yet again. I don't think I've ever had a Newport in my life. I'm a poser. I'm a fraud.
There's a few moments in the clips that Adult Swim sent us that were really funny, and like you trying to get the guests to acknowledge that you're ripped, but they just like wouldn't do it. Were there any guests that like actually kind of validated?
Oh, I got completely naked in front of John Hamm, and I think he complimented me. And he's a handsome man, so it meant more. It felt good, yeah. He saw my whole cock. We did this thing. We had this gag where my clothes were attached to like a fishing line, and right when I got up to greet him, our special effects team pulled all my clothes off, cock out.
What was his reaction?
He was shocked, but he said I was in great shape.
You guys did a pretty damn good job this year in getting some really good talent and guests on the show. Could you tell me a little bit about what your producers did to obviously 6 seasons?
Our producers lie. They lie to every publicist and agent, and we just we're duping celebrities.
Yeah. I mean, it's only one way, right?
It's the only way to get people on there. Or I think some people know what they're getting into. Or nobody knows what they're getting into. Some people think they know what they're getting into. But a lot of people wouldn't even tell them my name or the name of the show, and I'm meeting them for the first time on camera.
So they walk onto set, and they're like, oh, I'm on the Eric Andre show.
No, as long as the guest is over like 35 years old, they have no idea who I am. Damon John from Shark Tank had no idea who I was.
What was your like interactions with them after?
He said that, he goes, I've never experienced anything like this in my entire life, and I never will again. And I was like, that's accurate. And he was really cool at the end. He was like, I gotta have your number, man. We gotta hang out. He was shook and shocked.
It seemed like he was like there to kind of play ball with you for a little bit of that.
I think he had no choice. I think he was in too deep. I think at the end of the day, people know I'm just joking around. There's no malicious intent.
For the people on the street that don't know that you're joking around until maybe somebody tells them, what is it like when people are just kind of like ready to call the cops, essentially?
You try to you don't want them to call the cops because then the bit is over. So you got to throw them off the scent and keep confusing them until, or I'll send a producer, somebody by with a cell phone that's out of frame, and they'll go, oh, I'm calling the cops. Don't worry about it. You take care of him. And then they'll walk away just to keep the person on the hook. Or I'll say to the person, I'll be like, don't call the cops. The cops aren't who they say they are. Or I'll say, don't call 911, call 912, call the better cops, just to keep their brain scrambled.
It just seems like you guys are packing a lot more into these episodes. There's a lot of really good ideas coming through.
I think we're yielding a higher result than the previous seasons. I think there's a lot of trial and error in the previous seasons, and now we kind of know what to do a little bit better. So I think it's more pound for pound quality per square inch.
Are you guys doing more and like leaving less on the cutting room floor?
No, I just think we're going into production with a better sense of what's going to work or what's not going to work. I think the trial and error of like the previous 10 years in the movie like make us like, I think we're dialed in a way that we never have been before. So just had bet more quality.
And you landed, I think, your dream interview, Chet Hanks.
I don't know if it was my dream interview. It was a dream. It was a nightmare. It was a wet nightmare.
Did he bring his baggage to the set?
His emotional baggage? Yeah. He brings it everywhere he goes. He's always bringing his suitcase.
What was it like with him on the set?
It was difficult. Our crew was very upset. He stole a motorcycle and he almost knocked a bunch of light operators off their ladders.
Was that the craziest like guest interaction you've had off the set?
It's up there. Yeah, it was up there. Sometimes you do the show, sometimes the show does you.
I remember last time we spoke, you were telling us about the incident in Atlanta for Bad Trip and like how nearly got either killed.
Almost got stabbed. That was Rel's first prank he ever shot.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and he quit the movie day one. Yeah.
Luckily, you convinced him to come back.
I convinced him over and over again to come back to the movie. He quit a few times.
Now that you've had this experience with the Hanks family, can you rank the members of the Hanks family?
We'll put Tom at the top and Chet at the bottom. And I'll put Colin and Rita somewhere in the middle. I try not to pit the Hanks against each other.
Can you tell me a little bit about like the qualities you look for in a co-host and why you felt like Felipe?
You know, Felipe has a little bit of something what Hannibal has, where they're both completely unpredictable. They never try to be funny. They're just naturally funny. They're not trying to be clever or witty. They exist in their own world, in their own space. Felipe is just like completely uniquely him. There's no one on television like him, and he's just completely unpredictable. You know, he reminds me of Benicio del Toro's character in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which is one of my favorite characters ever captured. He's just incredibly talented and funny and sweet and easy to work with, and I just really enjoy his company. And he's got crazy stories. He used to like speedball heroin and meth and stuff back in the day.
Something that seems like the whole kind of crew and writers are really proud of is the cold episode.
Yes, we were trying to come up with like a holiday episode or a themed episode, and we kind of started giving up. And I can't remember who. Somebody in the writers' room was like, "Why don't you do the cold episode?" I was like the temperature? They're like, yeah. I was like, as related to winter or Christmas? They're like, no, just purely like the idea of the temperature. I was like,
yesterday's Q&A just like quickly went off the rails with some of the fans.
there was no questions really. It was just sounds.
The man behind me
Phonetics.
was screaming about like Danishes.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what the fuck was going on. I blocked that out. I liked it. I wasn't against it, but it was strange.
Spoke a little bit yesterday about just Bad Trip reaching this massive audience, getting to like #1 on Netflix, which is fantastic. How has that kind of changed like your personal life? Because obviously with your style of comedy, it seems like just the way fans engage with you is different than they might with other comedians or actors.
Yeah, I think most people are very sweet and polite, but 1 out of 99 people is like actually psychotic, and they'll grab my crotch. No, every once in a while you get like a psychopath who's violent, but for the most part, people are very sweet.
With the success of Bad Trip, are you thinking Bad Trip 2? And if you do Bad Trip 2, will you get
Bad Trip 2 Electric Boogaloo with a fridge keeper?
Will there be a bigger gorilla to have sex with you?
Better, yeah, with a larger phallus. I hope so.